When I was a little girl, I was afraid of everybody and everything. Here's a picture of me, the little girl on the far right. I was even afraid of the camera. But I wasn't afraid of her. She was tiny like me. She was always happy to see me and my sisters. I remember her sitting in a chair, reading her Bible, and sharing her favorite candy with us. Elmer's mint bubblets. They melted in your mouth, a really early version of Pop Rocks. I found this picture one day. It's our 4-generation shot. That's me, the baby, and Metsmayrik is at the top of the steps. She is my great-grandmother. I was thrilled when I saw this one of her holding me and smiling. That's the exact smile I remember. I was intrigued by her, and even after she passed, I'd ask my mom to tell me stories about her. When I was older, slowly but surely, the pieces of her life seemed to come into focus. And what a life! Metsmayrik was born in 1866, a year after the Civil War. Imagine that. But she didn't live in the U.S. then. Most of her life, she lived in a small village in Turkey. It was called İçme when she lived there. Today it's called Ukari İçme. It was a nice, prosperous village, and her husband, my great-grandfather, had a store, raised silkworms, and grew almonds. They also raised 3 daughters. My grandmother is the one seated in the chair. She got married and moved to the United States. Her sisters stayed in İçme. All was very good there. And then one day, just like that, it all changed. Life is like that to each of us at some time. Suddenly, often when we least expect it, there's a tear in the curtain of our reality. And life is never the same. On that day and in that place, they came for my great-grandfather. Here is my Aunt Eunice talking about what happened.
Mother, and they took my father away. They said, well, if he goes a little farther, we bring him back. Yeah. But they didn't. They killed him up there. They said he was praying when, they killed him.
They killed him. Mm-hmm.
So that's it.
Yeah, then.
When they took my great-grandfather away, Metsmayrik and the daughters went into hiding. And when they came out, the world had shifted. It reminds me of what it would be like after a neutron bomb. The buildings were all there, but very few people were. But no earthquake or bomb had hit. People did this. Almost everyone from the village was dead or had been marched away through a desert with no food or water. No one knew where they had gone. They were all just gone. So many questions. How can the human brain handle all of that at once and in such a short period of time? Quickly, the big question became how to get food and survive. Metsmayrik went to work for bread, but the girls had to go to an orphanage to be taken care of properly. My grandparents in the United States were frantic, and it took several years before they finally found them through an Armenian newspaper. As soon as they could, they brought them to the United States. Tragedies that seismically disrupt life, whether natural or man-made, happen all over the world, all the time. What's amazing is that Metsmayrik and hundreds of thousands of other survivors, in the face of all that tragedy, found a way to move forward, not forgetting the past, but not letting it destroy the future. I've thought a lot about what I would ask her if I had the chance. At first, I thought of asking her about that terrible time in her life. But in the end, after watching Aunt Eunice struggle even after all those years, I decided I would just tell her how well everything and everybody turned out. And then, of course, share some Elmer's mint bubblets and see if I could make her smile again.